So I'm looking to fill the shape. So I'm going to find the fill icon, which is here on the left hand side, boundary fill. I'm going to go into the word fill, and I'm on solid fill. I can choose a color, so red's fine. Click OK. OK. So you get this little finger pointer, and I should be able to click just on the inside of the boundary. So think about the boundary of the shape. So the boundary goes around the outside. And I'm just going to click just once, anywhere, but on the inside of the boundary. So I could click here. And all the boundary will go pink. But anything on the inside will remain black, like the holes, or even the hole in the center of the O. So it asks me, it says, are there any islands? Is there anywhere inside that boundary that you've clicked that you don't want to fill? Well, if I say no, it will fill it all in. So that's not very good. So I'll just do over here and undo. I'll try again. I'm going to click on boundary fill and click OK. So I'll click on the inside of the boundary. So I might click here. That's fine. It does the same. It's found the boundary, the perimeter. This time I'm going to choose yes. Any islands, yes. I'm going to say, yeah, this hole here, this is an island. So I'll click on the hole. Any more? Yeah, I've got one over this side. Any more? Yeah, I've got one in the middle of the O. Any more? No. Hey, presto. So that allows me to fill in the shape. So I know that it's, for one, what we call a closed contour, because it's allowed me to fill it. And it's allowed me to use the islands off the inside. Now remember, everything is selectable, so I could select and I could pick the shape, the actual fill, and I could move the fill out of the way if I really wanted to. So the fill's over here now, and the original shape is over here. And what sometimes happens is, inside your closed shape, you might have a tiny little line. And think about, imagine you're trying to blow a balloon up into this area here, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to fill it, aren't we? And imagine there's a little tiny little bit of line there like that sticking through, and you might not even hardly be able to see it, but it's like a little nail stuck in a tire. So what happens is, when you try and fill this in now, and you try and click on the inside, it'll say this isn't a closed boundary. Not a closed boundary, because you've got this little line here which is sort of interfering with the perimeter of the shape. It's sort of preventing it from being a closed boundary. So that's why it's important that you always get rid of all these little bits here and you have a look round. Now what you might have done as well by accident is you might have accidentally, well, I shouldn't have done that, undo. You might have accidentally deleted a bit of the line off, let's say. Not that either, undo. Trying to find a little bit of line here. I might just try this bit. So let's say you've got a gap like this. Well, of course, that's not a closed boundary. So if I tried to fill it using the boundary fill, click OK. If I tried to click on the inside, it'd say not a closed boundary, because it's not closed, is it? Click OK. So I need to put something in between there again. So I could use a line, or I could use a path. Yeah, so I could use a line, or I could use a path. Well, I might use a line, so I'm going to choose line. So how can I put a line between this point here and this point here? Well, if I zoom in, I need to somehow attach it to the end of this line here, to the end of this arc, and also attach it there. So over on the right hand side here, where it's the attach tool, if I make sure I've got the attach tool on here, it's pushed in, I've got the line option selected. I'm just going to click somewhere towards the end of this curve, click, and it's attached it to the end of there, and then I click somewhere towards the end of this one, click, and it's attached it to the end of there. So that's quite useful, the attach tool. It will attach two things to the end of things. So now I've drawn that line back in, I should be able to then boundary fill, click OK, choose the inside of the shape, any islands, yeah, this is an island, any more, yes, this is an island, any more, yeah, this is an island, any more, no, I'm all done. So I hope that sort of explains to you how to use that fill option. So it's all about having that closed outside shape, that perimeter. So that sort of concludes the design of our necklace. Remember what I did at the end is I selected the fill, the actual fill that's inside. So not the curve, not the perimeter or any part of it. I made sure I picked the red. I'm struggling to pick it there. I have to zoom in a bit. Zoom in a bit. Zoom in a bit. Like that. And then I could copy it, or I could just move it outwards. I can move it out here somewhere. So it's just over here somewhere, yeah? Move it over here, move it over here. Maybe take the attach off. So that's literally just the fill, isn't it? And what's cool about that now is I can select that, just that fill, and if I wanted to, I could choose line here and make the line, see how it's invisible? I could choose the line as a solid line, click OK, and then I could go on to fill, no fill, OK, and what I get now is just a closed shape again. So I'm back to where I was over here by copying just the fill and then making the line visible and then removing the fill. Okay, so if you have a look now, here's a few different examples like Sarah, where it's linked together just like I did. So start edit, put the letters together and trim them off. This kawaii, but this one's got some hearts above, so the shapes have really been shrunk down and blended together. Still got the holes on the side of the letter, that looks quite nice. And then there's more of a scrolly one, like this nerd. Beautiful's quite a good one, it's got some little curvy bits underneath. And then perhaps if you wanted to have a go at designing something like these sunglasses here, you could have a go at doing them. With that, you'd have to maybe use the lines and the curves with some slots down the middle using what's called the double path tool, but I'll show you that in another video. Okay, so have a go at that, have a go at doing all those 13 stages of the tutorial, and hopefully you'll be able to produce your own range of designs. Good luck.